related to Kanti. I mentioned before we started our sitting this evening. It's very important to have Aditthana. Aditthana is to make a determination, to make a vow, and within a determined time. Maybe, okay, now we have just said 30 minutes. Within 30 minutes time, I'm not going to move. We move to escape discomfort. Many times subconsciously, out of habit, we move our lower back, we move our head, we move our hands, we move our toes. If we move slightly, you know, uh, um, we feel that the pain is reduced. But this is an illusion. This is an illusion. We don't want to see dukkha. We don't want to see discomfort. We don't want to see suffering. As a result, we try to cover with the change of posture. The change of posture deludes us. Okay, it gives us delusion that there is no pain. There's no pain. Because we don't to confront pain, we don't to observe pain. We don't to observe it. So here to counter that habit, that deeply rooted habit, that ingrained habit, we use Aditthana, we use a habit of determination. So during the sitting, you can choose any sitting posture that you need, that you like. You can sit on a chair, or you can even lie on your bed. Okay, there's sleeping meditation. Sleeping meditation, 2 hours, 3 hours. You're not supposed to move. Only 2 or 3 hours. Okay, this physical body, you cannot bear with that anymore. You can see how vulnerable this physical body is. 1 hour without moving, a lot of pain already. A healthy body, very healthy body, but without moving, 1 hour, you can see aches and pains in the body. 10 years old, 15 years old, 20 years old, all the same. All the same. When you observe 8 precepts, you observe sin, bad, 8 precepts. That sin, that precepts, they are outside. Outer precepts. Outer precepts. Not to hurt people. Panatipata. Adinadana. Not to take what is not given. Not to take what belongs to other people without being given. Abramacharya. Again, that is indulgence. Musawata, again, outer. observation of outer behavior. Sura Miraya, again, intoxication. To stay away from intoxication, again, this is observing outside behavior. All the 8 precepts that you took on the first day, and they are sila or precepts, outer precept outside. But not to move during meditation. This is called insi sangwan sin, indriya sangwara sila. This is internal precept, internal. Indriya is insi that we call in Thai. That is the faculty. Insi is faculty. Faculty of the eyes, faculty of the ears, the nose, the tongue, the body. But when we use the word insi, we don't focus so much on the outside behavior. Rather, we focus on inside, the inside behavior. So when you sit in the morning and during the day, before we sit, you make a conscious determination. I'm going to sit for 30 minutes. I'm going to sit for 45 minutes. I'm not going to move my legs. I'm not going to move my hands. I'm not going to move my hips, my lower back. There will be discomfort. Okay. We have many ways of dealing with physical discomfort. The first level is to use concentration to deal with that. No understanding yet, just concentration. When we focus on primary object, such as breathing, such as rising and falling of the tummy, we focus on one physical object constantly. By doing so, we develop concentration, samadhi, concentration. That concentrated mind helps us to cope with the physical discomfort to a certain level, to a certain level. So you can judge, okay, within 30 minutes, within 45 minutes, within 1 hour. If you cannot tolerate the physical discomfort, you can see the concentration level cannot be maintained. You can't maintain the concentration level because you keep moving back. By working on the pain, on breathing, on the pain, on breathing, on the pain, on primary object, on the pain, back and forth like that. We increase our concentration. This physical discomfort is nothing new. It's not unique to meditation. It's there. It's there all the time. It's there. So, not to move. Of course, uh, in our earlier practices, we want to move. We observe the intention to move. and we move. The purpose is, if you catch up the intention to move, later we expect that you won't move. Because it's that intention. Okay, if we're aware of it, it will prompt you to act. It will prompt you to move. Everything begins with the mind. So if you're aware of the intention to move, you become aware of that intention again and again, again, again. After 2 or 3 days, you move less and less. You move less and less. I mentioned earlier before we started sitting earlier, there is an urge, there's a demand inside the mind. I call that habit. Tanha is a habit. Tanha is a habit energy. Habitual energy. The energy of habit. To move. So Tanha is demanding, please move, please move, please move. Constant demand. Constant demand. And one level of managing this demand is through Indriya Samvara Sila, Insi Sangwan Si. This is to change the habit. Okay, I have made a determination. I'm observing sin, Insi Sangwan Si. I'm observing this internal sila, internal sin, internal precept. Is this internal precept that will help change our habit quickly. The outer precepts, they take much longer. They take much longer to change our habit. But the inside one, the inside precept is Insi Sangwon, Indriya Sangwara Sila. This is the term. Indriya Sangwara Sila. Okay, you use Aditthana, determination, not to give in, not to give in to that demand. You can do that at home, like one moment. You can lie in bed. You can put a timer, say 30 minutes, 1 hour, lying, okay, in bed. You choose the most comfortable posture. And then you observe. You can observe breathing, or you can even listen to a Dhamma talk. Okay, I'm not going to move. I'm not going to move my leg. My leg will be in discomfort, my shoulder, my neck, my leg. I'm going to observe the reaction. I'm going to observe the demand, the habitual demand. Tanha is here. If we accommodate demand, the next time that tanha comes back quickly, please move, please move. And it has all the excuses, all the reasons, okay, to move. The same with walking meditation. I'm going to walk for 1 hour. I'm going to walk for 30 minutes. You follow that determination, that determined, um, because the physical body is going to demand that. Um, you change, you move, you stop, um, you do something else rather than the one you're doing. Vedana Pachaya Tanha in Parijjasamuppada. If we if we spend time to observe Vedana, we can see Tanha. Tanha is a habit of like and dislike. Tanha. The habit of like is called Dhamma Tanha and Bhava Tanha. The habit of dislike is called Vibhava Tanha. Dhamma Tanha is the thing outside that we get attached to. It may be the sound, it may be food, it may be color, it may be a comfortable seat that we get attached to. Things outside. But the idea that we get attached to, that we like, the idea that we like, that's Bhava. Something that we don't like, Vibhava. And so by observing physical discomfort, you can see a lot of it. You can see a lot of it. In the first sermon, Dhamma said, Purnopavika, something that is repetitious, repeats again and again, Purnopavika. So if you give in to the demand to move, even within 30 minutes, within 40 minutes, the next session, the same request, more than request, the same demand will just come. It's repetitious. This is what we call Purnopavika. That is why we call Tanha as Samudaya, the cause of dukkha. It perpetuates this suffering. With this Aditthana, if we can sit 30 minutes, 45 minutes, 1 hour without moving, and after a few days, you 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 know the body adapts to this, and the mind also changes its behavior. So you become comfortable with 1 hour. That means the suffering of 1 hour is reduced. The suffering of 1 hour is not repeated. The demand of Dhamma within 1 hour is not repeated. This is the power of Aditthana. The power of Aditthana. That is why in retreat, if we have to observe internal habits, there comes a time when we want to go home. Okay. The second day, the third day, like that, especially the third day, people want to go home. Any type of retreat, people want to go. It becomes quite intense working on themselves, working on their habit. Mm-hmm. Well, that is why in many retreats, if you don't complete the retreat, uh, you're not welcome anymore next time. In in all the retreats I have seen, I have been, they say, if you leave, okay, before the end of the retreat, you're not welcome next time. Uh, this is to help us to to conquer our old habit, the old habit of giving in easily. We want to give in easily. As human beings, we have the capacity to observe outside, observe inside. Animals, they only have the capacity to observe outside. But although we have the capacity to observe both inside and outside, we spend more time observing outside. The Panchava, they were meditating more than 30 years, as long as the as long as well as many years as the Buddha's life, because they left their job in the palace. They were ministers. They left their jobs soon after Prince Tata was born. But they knew he was going to become great. They developed concentration, but they still look for things outside, happiness outside, great things outside, from home, Brahma, outside, outside. In Thai, the Buddhist monks use the word Atma. The word Atma means Atta. Actually, it means Atta. It's Sanskrit. So Atta is Pali. The same word. The same word. And they believe Atman, Atman is something that exists outside and eternally at peace, in bliss, no trouble. They truly believe in that. Today, all the people in India, Hinduism believe it. They believe in Brahma and Atma. They are the same. It exists somewhere outside. It considered to be the creator. It gives you everything. It also destroys the world. at the right time. They believe like that. That's a belief. Very genuine belief. I like to think Panchavakiya, they also believe like that. So they were kind of I don't know, trying to find that Brahma to connect with that. Something like we try to find Nibbana. So they will also try to find. They led a very virtuous, very ethical life, very concentrated life, very pure life. But deep down in them, in their heart, they were looking for something outside. Mm. So the first sermon, the second sermon, the Buddha said, the end of suffering, the end of dukkha, is nowhere outside, is here. We just have to look at the habit, tanha, this tanha, and change this habit. Change this habit. Tasayewa tanhaya asesa viraka nirodha sankhara nirodho. In the first sermon, the third noble truth, nirod. That's the text, that's the passage. Okay. When we see tanha, we're trying to work on that tanha. We're trying to see where it comes from. We're trying to see tanha at work. We're trying to see tanha functioning, tanha demanding, tanha changing our thoughts, tanha preventing us, okay, from enjoying the present moment, from enjoying the food that is here. It's us. Our mind is somewhere else. So we look at tanha at work. When we look at tanha, we come to see the three characteristics, Ponobhavika, that is very repetitious. So if you move your leg during meditation, that would be very repetitious. That demand will come back again and again. Nanti raka sahakata. Every time you move, you feel good. But that good feeling lasts for a very short while. So what you have to do then? Tatara pitnantini. You have to look for that again because it's gone. It's fleeting. The three characteristics of Dhamma. So for the first time, if you don't move, maybe in your mind there is a habit, there is a desire to move, but you resist that. You resist that. So you accomplish your Aditthana for one sitting. Next, the next sitting. If you accomplish many sitting like that, you're weakening tanha. You're weakening that habit of wanting to move, wanting to run away from this pain. Before I came here, I trained the young Samanene, young novices. I started with 5 minutes. Okay, I said, don't move. And I asked them, because they are young, they can do. I ask them to cross their legs, to do full lotus position. Yeah, full lotus position. This is this is half lotus. Okay. If you do this, this is full lotus. Okay, we do this 5 minutes. 5 minutes. They say, oh, but then I ask them to breathe, to breathe harsh so that they forget you. 40 or so, or maybe 56, 56 of them. Maybe 5 or 6 of them move. The rest they don't move. Okay. You conquer your Dhamma for 5 minutes. But tomorrow we are going to do 6 minutes. So I brought them up to 11 minutes to do that way. And you you can see that this Aditthana is only if we had tried that we will see some benefit. We believe in some benefit. Uh, mm. So samudaya is to see that Dhamma here, Dhamma, which is a very deep rooted, a very deeply ingrained habit, to see that at work and to work on that, to work on it, to keep working on that. And when that Dhamma no longer raises its head, the Buddha said, the Buddha told the Panchavakkhya, you don't really need to look for Atta outside, Atma outside. Nibbana is here and now. By changing this habit, by changing that habit, so to look within. After a few days, after a few days of the Panchavakkhya becoming enlightened, the Buddha saw the son of a rich man, Yasa. And he was having a picnic. All of a sudden, okay, a girl that he brought with him took his belonging, his jewels, and everything away. So he was looking for that girl who took away his valuable things. And he bumped into the Buddha. The Buddha said to him, you're looking for something outside, something valuable outside. Why don't you look for something valuable inside? Inside. With that, that clicked in his mind. He started looking at his mind, his thought, his emotion. He saw the connection was going on in his mind. The moment he saw the clinging stop, the old habit stopped. The old habit was abandoned. In the same way, when the Buddha came back to Bodh Gaya, I mentioned yesterday, when he saw 1,000 Risi ascetics, they will focus on the fire outside. The Buddha said, the fire inside. The fire outside is root. The fire inside is nam, root. We mistake, we mistake physical matter for the mind. So you think your knees is in pain. You think your leg is in pain, your back is in pain. Your back is not in pain. Your leg is not in pain. Your ankle is not in pain. Khanha, Vedana, that feeling is nam, okay? Is mental, is psychological. This physical body is root, is physical. This physical body, it doesn't feel. What is feeling here is nama. So we take rupa for nama and vice versa because we cannot distinguish between these two. Okay, what is complaining, what is saying is so painful, is so painful. It's not the leg, it's not the ankle. If we still see, okay, this form, the Thai word, we is rude if I use this Thai word, but the original Pali word is not rude. Panyati, five kinds of panyati. One of them is called santana, santan. The word santan in Thai is a little bit rude, but in Pali it means the form. We we create a perception of form. We no longer see them as a four element. We see them as this is my leg. The leg doesn't know that it's leg. It doesn't know. The hand doesn't know it's hand. It's the mind which is making it off, making it off. So by the moment we focus on breathing in and out, by the time and then we also observe pain in the Mahasi tradition. After some time, if we can sit, mm, we can sit quite well 1 hour, 1.5 hour like this. That notion of santana, that notion of form drops, and it becomes weakened. Now we just see as Vedana. We don't see it as my leg. The first retreat, first few days, my leg is in pain, my back is in pain. Is all santana, santana, not Thai santana, okay, Pali santana. So when concentration increases, the sandana panyati, that is the perception of form, drops, at least temporarily. When that drops, we can tolerate the pain much longer. Handi increases. Handi increases. Now we only see the pain, but we still mistake that the pain is in the body, not in the mind. We still mistaken that. As a result, our Khandi is limited. Our Khandi is limited. So by the time we examine, by the time we analyze, Khandha, five aggregates, whenever there's sensation, we give a name to it. We give it a name. Pain. We give it a name. It appears in the mind that this is pain. Sanya. Sanya. When you see the pain, what happened? You want to move it, you want to relieve, you want to do something. Sankhara follows. So we look at this again and again, again. When we come to see clear, now you can sit much longer, much more comfortable. Your your pain threshold, to use magical word, your pain threshold increases. To use our word, your kanti increases. Increases. So if we look at kanti this way, it's very interesting. Kanti is very interesting. But today, to conclude, I just come back to the basic important message: to use Aditthana, to use determination, to use determination, to counter the hindrances to Kanti. If you remember this message, if you put this into practice, Kanti will be there and it will become stronger and stronger. You can do that at home and Kunmohan. Okay. if you sit, if you sit at the dining table, okay, I'm going to have my tea. I'm going to choose, okay, my posture, my leg, this way. And I'm not going to move my leg for 15 minutes or a quarter of an hour. And you take your tea. By the time you feel some discomfort, if you want to move, you observe that. You observe Tanha demanding. Move, move, please move, please move. You just look at that Tanha. Don't give in. Don't give in. If you do that, in the name of Kanti, you're working on Samudaya, the cause of suffering. You're also working on concentration. You're also working on all factors of the Eightfold Path. When you have your tea, 15 minutes. When you have your breakfast, when you have your lunch. Okay, any question?
Mm. Um, Written question from Yom Orakin. Okay. I do the translation. Okay. I observed that Kanti is working with mindfulness. Like when I encounter suffering, Kanti will sustain mindfulness to watch the suffering. And if the mind want to resist the suffering, Kanti will sustain mindfulness not to turn away from that. So I can watch until suffering pass away. And if it's the sensual pleasure, the mind is attached to that pleasure, then Kanti would would put up with that to give up that pleasure. So is do I understand this correctly?
Yes, correctly. We use the word Kanti because I started thinking why the Buddha told the monks, all the arahants, okay, 1,250, that Khanti is the highest practice. And where is mindfulness? So we explore Khanti in this retreat. Um, mindfulness and Khanti, they work together. Exactly. Exactly. We can also say mindfulness and Insi Sangwon work together. We can say that. We can also say Khanti and Samadhi concentration, they work together. We can also say understanding, Panya, and Khanti, they work together. I, in other words, I like to say Khanti absorb all the factors of enlightenment. It absorbs all the magmi on bad, noble, four part. It absorbs every one of them. Of course, um, mindfulness is the essence of all those. We have to use we have to use mindfulness as a tool in order to develop other qualities. So satipatthana, mindfulness as a foundation.
ค่ะ this is from Yomอ้อ she's practice online, and so she report the practice that when she practice, um, um, she when we have what we dislike, we can I can perceive Vedana, Sanya, and Sankhara all together. At that time, I feel that Kanti is my Kanti is at the first level, that I can put up with it, but the mind is not that comfortable. And I can see that my mind is moving forward, like focus on the result. For example, um, I would like to achieve if I can sit or walk as what I aim for. And then I try to train my mind to be with the present moment with right attitude, that every moment is a learning process, and to make the mind be with present moment and has kanti to be peaceful. Then I can perceive that the mind doesn't want anything, not expecting anything, can feel that the mind is strong, stable, contented, and equanimous, can stay with what I dislike or like with neutral feeling. And another thing is when the mind feels dissatisfied, sometimes if we just wait, then that mind will change. So she would like to ask for advice.
It's already a perfect question. It has everything, including the answer in it. Shanti exists only at the present moment, not in the past and not in the future. Shanti functions only at the present moment. When when the mind is obsessed with the past or is anxious with the future, it has less kanti, less kanti. So Well, by training the mind to observe, to be at the present moment, when we eat, when we walk, when we sit, when we move around, at that moment, without pronouncing, okay, Kanti is there. Kanti is the quality of Kanti is there. Kanti, we just have to see, as we mentioned on the first day, which level of Kanti. The first level, not very peaceful, not very peaceful. We are still, um, we still, we are still dealing with the habit, the internet demand. And when that demand subsides, we come to another level of Kanti, a more peaceful one, more peaceful one. And at that moment, the mind is content. The mind is fully present, is contented. When Tanha is making many demands, certainly and obviously, there's no contentment. All Tanha is doing is to take us away from the present moment, to do something else rather than the present one. The food that is in front of us, other than this, eat anything that that will be the demand of Tanha. So, one way we deal with it is we use Aditthana. We use Aditthana. Um, after you have cooked certain food and the food is on the table, you make Aditthana. I'm going to enjoy this one. I'm going to finish this one. I'm going to eat this way. Okay, I'm going to chew how many times for a bite. I'm going to follow this. If we follow that Aditthana, this is what um, I pick up today. The theme I pick up today in season one. In season one. This will help us to be more at the present moment. By being at the present moment, by being mindful of our thought, our emotion at the present moment, we are strengthening Kanti.
Her second question, uh, same as Yom Suvari question, is about Viriya and Kanti. She asked whether Kanti and Viriya work together. Yom Suvari asked, what's the difference between Viriya and Kanti? Or how they support each other? They arise together or they arise in order?
I'd like to imagine that um, Virya is a process, is an effort that we make along the process. Kanti can be the same, can be part of the process. In one way, judging from the Ovatapatimo, the Buddha seems to imply that in Kanti, the other qualities are included, including Virya. Virya is included in Kanti. Just look at an example. If you have to sit for 1 hour, if you have to do lying meditation, sleeping for 1 hour without moving, that's a big effort to go through that, to accomplish that aditthana, that determination for 1 hour. It needs a lot of kanti, a lot of kanti. Some people would like to perceive that viriya is a more active quality, kanti is less, is more. I don't want to use the word passive. Um, but viriya is a more active quality. I like to say that the first level of kanti is like viriya. Is like viriya. The second level is like samadhi, is like pasati. Pasati is like piti, is like ubekha. That's in the Pakchong, seven Pakchong, seven factors, something like that. Is more peaceful. The the higher kanti is more peaceful, is more stable, is more stable. You're at peace. Okay. The the four elements in the body uh, still keep changing. Okay, it doesn't stop working. It still it still keep changing. And the heat sometimes is more, is up, sometimes is down, is less. And the change of metabolism, the change of the heat level will cause some um, physical discomfort. But the mind is free from trouble. The mind is not disturbed. Mind is not disturbed. At that moment, I like to call that the higher kanti, peaceful kanti. The mind observes the body. They're two different things. The body is sick, but the mind is not sick. Because you can separate them. You see them separately. When we don't see them separately, we mix up everything. We mix up everything. When the body is sick, okay, our mind also becomes sick. It cannot detach from the physical body. So, if you can sit more than 1 hour comfortably as an experienced meditator, you know that the body, the physical body, does not stop changing. The heat and cold is always there. Um, um, the tension in the physical body is there. But the mind feels aloof. The mind is only watching it as a spectator, as a spectator. At that moment, whatever changes happens in the body, the mind is looking at that with kanti, with kanti. You can call Dhamma is looking at that, or with strong mindfulness, you can say that. It's the same. Or you can say the mind is observing the process of change in the body. You can say that. That is wisdom. It's all the same. It's all the same.
She has one more question, but I would like to ask from the floor first. If anybody here has question.
But it's like Kanti is behind the scene. It's not show up, but when the suffering is a lot and huge, then Kanti is coming out. Is is it the Kanti is there all the time or not? But sometimes it feel like it's behind. It didn't see.
It's a good way of putting that. Um, so whether Kanti is expressive, obvious, visible at times, especially when the demand of Dhamma is strong and we want to give up. Kanti will have to show up. Kanti will have to. It is very helpful to have Kanti to show up. And earlier today, I used the word Aditthana, determination. That Kanti also. You can call that Kanti. In other words, the 10 Parami, in one place, the Buddha called all of them. The Buddha named them, the Buddha include them into one word, that's Kanti. That's Kanti. But sometimes they wear different hats as Virya, as mindfulness, as metta, as different things, as Aditthana. Aditthana is also one of the paramis.
So the third question, she asks about the situation in daily life, like when I'm in the situation that I was blamed by others. So I walk out, but I can see that the mind has kanti not to react to that person. But still, I know that the mind feel resistant and think that I am right. And so I have to use many way of thinking to make my mind feel better. Like consider that his or her intention of that person, that she or he has goodwill for us. That's why she talk that way. And the question is, in this kind of conflict situation, how can we train Kanti in the second level? How can the mind be peaceful in that situation?
The overall aim, the overall intention of the practice to reduce suffering, to reduce conflict, to reduce problem. Kanti at the physical level, Kanti at the verbal, the speech level, Kanti at the psychological level. So um, there's no physical. Um, so At that level, Kanti is practice is a shoe. Kanti is a shoe. The second one, you control yourself. Maybe any other time you might have said 10 words. At this time, you may have said just one word. So there's a lot of kanti at the speech, at the verbal level. At the verbal level. At the psychological level, you still struggle. You are not at peace with this, not straight away. You come away and you do reflection. You do reflection. If you can interpret the situation in the right way, you understand that you're happy with that, there will be kanti at the psychological level. Here, even though kanti is at the first level, at the lower level, that kanti helps you to reduce conflict, to reduce conflict. In that way, is very good. In that way, is very good. If our mind is also peaceful, we reach the second or the higher level of kanti. At that moment, we have more opportunity to be dynamic, to be active, to engage with the root cause, with the root cause of that tension. If our mind is not peaceful and we want to engage with the person talking about that, the situation is volatile, is vulnerable. Emotionally, both sides are vulnerable. But if you're at peace, you have more power to listen. As you listen more, you have more opportunity to understand that person. If the person is wrong, you have more patience, more kanti to convince the person. Now, first, you listen to the person. If you listen to that person, the person will feel that he is being listened to. He is not being ignored. This is a good point. This is a good. You can also use another method. Before you talk about this flashing point, you can talk about other things first. Non-contentious thing. The good thing about the company, the good thing about the work that you share, the good contribution that the person has made, the good contribution that you have made. You can talk about them. That is mudita. If you use mudita, that person will have more kanti. You also will have more kanti. You see? And we don't run away from the problem in daily life because this kind of problem, sometimes it persists and we have to tackle that. And when we tackle that, if the situation explodes, then there's no point because we are making the situation worse. Then how to solve the problem? Yeah. We cannot run away from this problem. We cannot ignore this. That will involve some changes in attitude in that person and in ourselves, accepting each other. So in order to do that, Handi is very important. Handi is not about giving in. It's not about giving up. It's not about giving in easily. It's not about giving up on the problem easily. It's not about covering. Handi is not like that. Handi is about facing a difficult issue without exploding, without making it worse, or to settle that to a peaceful end. Because Handi means Shanti. Shanti in Sanskrit means Santi. Santi, peace. So it's about building peace for that particular incident between two people, maybe between two groups. In order to build peace, we have to look at what is not peace here. What is not peace? Maybe disagreement between the two. Okay, disagreement about what? Is it about our ideas? Is it about action? Is it about implementation? Is it about evaluation? Which point? Is it about recognition? So with Kanti, we can look at each point. But without Kanti, we rush to a judgment. We rush to a judgment and we start blaming each other. If you walk away, at least you take a pause. You take a pause for a short while. You prevent the situation from exploding.
ดูตัวเองนะคะดูปวดหรือดูอาการทางใจแต่อย่างที่พระอาจารย์บอกคือมีคันติกับเวลา situation ที่ face to face กับคนอื่นเนี่ยค่ะไม่ค่อยจะมีขันติตรงนี้จะฝึกยังไงเจ้าค่ะ
We have to observe our expectation. Subconsciously, we expect the person to be perfect. Okay, to conform our standard, our ideal. Things should be like this. People should behave like this. The moment they disappoint you, Kandi is gone. That's because of the subconscious expectation.